One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and earth, the thunderous roar. Insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Originals report and pace his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Man, oh man, happy thirsty Thursday morning to everybody. Let's freaking go. Hopefully everyone's enjoying their morning, evening, afternoon, wherever the hell you guys are tuning in from. Much love, honor, and respect to everybody. We have an interesting lineup for the morning. Not really as much regarding what the title is today. These are the big things that are happening today. But I have a lot of stuff behind the scenes as well. But nonetheless, RFK is to testify on Capitol Hill today, as well as Trump commits to talks with Ukraine. And then we also have an update on the Lisbon crash death toll. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, that's going to be our first story of the morning. 15 died in a rail crash in Portugal, which is in Lisbon. Then we're going to be going into the Epstein files. Client list could be released by survivors. That was as of last night. That's some of the newest info on that. Then we also have President Trump, late last night, calls Epstein case a Democrat hoax. Then we're going to be talking a little bit about Iran. Iran increased uranium stockpile before Israeli attack, the UN says. Then we have DC National Guard troops deployment in DC could reportedly last through December, and that this is what they're talking about, the extensions of this whole thing in DC. So nonetheless, before we get into the morning, the lineup of the day, man, make sure you guys come in and hit that freaking like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because it's also free. But here comes the money part. Please consider becoming a member starting only at $2.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but this is how we stay in business, man. If we had to rely on freaking advertisement and stuff like that, we definitely wouldn't even be able to afford ramen. You know what I mean? I'm keeping it real. No one really likes to watch old news, so it's really hard for people to go back on my particular videos, and that's what you need is views. You know what I mean? To be able to make money on YouTube especially, and if you can't garnish that kind of viewership on the back end, this is a fantastic way to be able to make that happen, and guys like me can survive. Little side note, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes, and not only in my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, all that great shit. Make sure you guys get a hold of me over there. We also have a Discord. It's in the description box of every single video, so make sure you guys go down, and that's where all of us in the Breakfast Club and the Insane Wheels family hang out, man. So make sure you guys do that. Last but not least, for the call-outs, man, all super chats, super stickers, gifted membership signups are all going to be presented live onto the show, and of course, shouted out. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, we have these platforms right here, and of course, I will shout out anything that comes through. I have my email up now and ready to rock and roll. Now, before we get into it, real quick, I an hour, about 50 minutes before the show, or no, actually an hour and 50 minutes before the show had even started. Brother Gorilla Biscuits came in and gifted a membership just to say God bless and have a great day, man. That's super fucking awesome of GB. Thank you for making it rain. It helps out the show immensely, and it helps someone in the Breakfast Club too, man. So I really appreciate that. All right, so good morning to everyone, man. We got a fun morning to definitely get ourselves through. We got Brother Steve Easy in the building. We got Rob's neighbor, my man. Great to see you as well. We got Carney's ride, as well as where is Rabbit of Chaos? There she is. Good morning to you. We got Liquored Up with Poncho, Brother SNS. Let's see, old Brother Beezer Geezer. What's up, cuh? Hopefully you're enjoying the morning. We got Tiffany as well. Good morning to you, Tiffany. Oh boy, Brother Steve, he says, breaking news, all Epstein survivors go missing and never exist, says Trump. Oh, Jesus. Oh, boy, here we go. Shit, man, that sounds, man, why wasn't I invited, Carney? What's going on here? Let's see, we got Brother Gary as well. Good morning to you, kind sir. Great to see you. We got Mount High as well. Likes for Mike and Lieutenant Tobacco all around. Yes, sir, we got our Lieutenant Tobacco. I already started. I was actually on Motobomb's show, and it's always a great crew of guys. I very much enjoy not only watching them, but also hanging out with them. They're good fucking people, man. I love that. We got Hugh as well. Good morning, kind sir. Great to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning as well as Christopher Collins. Good morning. All right, guys, we're going to get into it. Let's go ahead and do this. This is a quick update. This is over there in Portugal, and 15, unfortunately, lost their lives on this.
But we now know that at least 15 people have been killed and at least 18 others have been injured in an electric streetcar accident that happened in Lisbon.
Electric streetcar? So a rail, like one of the, it's not, I don't know why they call it electric streetcar, because it's not, I mean, it is electric. It's on wire, right? But I wouldn't call it a streetcar. I just call it a bus or I don't know,
Portugal,
a train.
Of course, is at the downtown
It's on a track.
Area there of the city. It's a very popular tourist attraction for those who come and visit Portugal. At this time, we know, according to the Associated Press, that 5 of the injured are in serious condition as well at this point. The National Institute for Medical Emergencies said that in a statement as well, noting that an unknown number of those injured are foreigners as well. And so I want to put this up on the screen. This is from Phil Stewart, a Reuters reporter there, giving us an update saying that this happened there on Lisbon's Gloria Funicular Railway car, which is popular with tourists. It was that derailed and crashed, according
to Reuters reported the initial death here, and he put it there. So
to those emergency medical service spokespersons. They did say that authorities at this time have not identified the victims or disclosed their nationalities, but did say that some...
Damn, so at least 15. That's terrible when they use the at least verbiage nomenclature. At least 15 people died and around 18 were injured on Wednesday. Man, so 33 people. Man, that's terrible.
More nationals were among the dead, saying it is a tragic day for our city. Lisbon is in mourning.
Oh, Hugh is Pablo.
It is a tragic
What's up,
incident.
Pablo?
That was also said there by the mayor of Lisbon as well, speaking to reporters. We've seen some of these press conferences that have been happening there near the site. So I want to put it back up on your screen here just so you can get a sense of the emergency response that has been brought there to the area. Earlier reports there from our partners there at Reuters have said that...
Okay, so you guys see the fire truck that's right here. What is the crash is back here. You guys can see this shit is like on its side and completely demolished. Yeah.
At the time, there was footage of those emergency response folks pulling folks there from the site there after this tram-like funicular did slide down the hillside there.
Yeah, no fucking kidding, Steve. That's not even a joke there.
Lisbon. As you can see, though, it's been nearly completely destroyed, according to some of those emergency workers as well. The president of Portugal has since spoken out as well, saying in a statement that he hopes that authorities would soon establish what caused this tragic crash. Of course, this line, which is very popular once again with some of...
Yeah, I mean, how did it happen? It's on a rail.
Those tourists opened back in 1885.
Did motherfucker just like floor it or something like that around a turn? Even though it should be able to handle the car or whatever, the electric car, they say street car. It should be able to handle full throttle on the rail, you know?
over 100 years ago, and it connects different areas of Lisbon's downtown, and it's famous for its vibrant nightlife there in the area.
Well, we will definitely give you guys an update on that once we find out, if we do find out. Of course, you guys know that I follow anything that we report. We try our best to go back and finish the story if anything does come out about it. I do a very good job of trying to go back to and finish the story. So, and real quick, we got brother Steve Easy saying 21 likes and 20 in the chat. That's a W. Win, all of you legends. Man, that's true. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for hitting that like button, man. It helps out a lot. What's up, Brez? My man, good to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning as well, man. Good to see you. I'm definitely doing a lot better than I deserve, kind sir. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the next story here. We're going to go into Epstein, and we have two things on Epstein. We have this, and then we have Trump on Epstein as of last night.
Want to discuss all of this much further here, so let's bring in Andrea Lewis, trial attorney who works with sexual abuse victims. She's also a former felony prosecutor. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so first off, the question I do want to ask, as we are hearing from the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein, his victims there, we heard from some of them on Capitol Hill today. We've heard from a few of them in the past. And I did want to ask, what is it, aside from, let's say, the 33,000 pages that were released yesterday, what is it that they are looking to have released information-wise?
Well, to start, one thing would be an acknowledgement.
Whoa. Speaking of acknowledgement, we got Brother Beezer coming in, dropping in 5 gifted memberships, yo. Man, made that shit splash like a motherfucker. Hey, kind sir, I can't thank you enough for that. Helps out extremely, dude. So thank you so much for your contributions, man. That goes very far. Let me go ahead and back this up just a little bit here.
Well, to start,
what's up,
one
Naomi?
thing would
Good morning.
be an acknowledgement of that this occurred and that they were wronged and that the justice system did not handle the case.
Real quick, we got Naomi, we got Ray, we got Slim just coming in. Good morning, you guys. Great to see you guys. Hopefully you're enjoying your thirsty Thursday morning so far.
Appropriately from the onset. Now, most of us, you and I, know that that's the case, right? Anybody can see that plain as day. But what happens here is that this has gone on for such a long time. And all of these victims have been denied to a large extent and for years the ability to truly heal and to feel validated that people not only hear them, but that they believe them. And so that's one thing that they have really been robbed of for a long time. But not only that, and I think what the American people are so angry about is that there are still people out there walking the streets who participated in this, who were co-conspirators, and they are not behind bars. And people want that changed, and they want them held accountable.
As more information is released here, as we hear more about this, we get documents. How do investigators, folks who have that information, how do they go about protecting the victims' identities? We've heard about that from so many people. And again, on Capitol Hill, that was an issue that was mentioned today.
Just give John Doe fucking names or what?
So how exactly do they go about ensuring that the victims' identities do remain secret?
And that's a great question, Josh Bears. We got Stephanie as well. Good morning to you. Great to see you.
Well, I will tell you, that is not a mystery, and it's very simple. It's done every single day in courtrooms across America. And it is as simple as redacting names and identifying information to protect individuals. This is not brains.
Yes, I love that, by the way. Beezer the Biker says, new members, welcome to the rice field, motherfuckers.
Oh, shit!
Yes, sir. Hey, man. It is awesome for all the new members. Make sure you guys, we do a members only live stream. If you guys are new members, we do a members only live stream every single Saturday morning at 10 a.m. CST, same time that I go live here. But we have an unreal time over there. It's just super funny. We have a great time. We're uncensored. It's just awesome. Real quick, we got Chatting with Stacks up in the building. Kind sir, great to see you as well as Path Killer. Good morning to you, both of you gentlemen. Great to see you guys. Thank you guys for hanging.
To the extent that documents are still being withheld, I would submit that we should really be questioning whether it's the victims whoever is withholding these documents is intending to protect, as opposed to
Brother TVT as well. Oh, as well as I believe part 4 of the interview that Stacks did with me is on his YouTube channel live now, and I believe the 5th out of 5, part 5 comes out tonight, I think. Let me know if I'm right about that, Stacks. But if one of the moderators can drop Stacks's, YouTube channel link, that would be awesome. Thank you, guys.
The perpetrators, because it is not difficult at all to protect the victims and just simply redact out their names or take out identifying information so that they are suitably protected. And here in this circumstance, you hear that there are people who have been victims of Jeffrey Epstein who are speaking out publicly and asking for these documents to come out. So, I mean, the information needs to be released, and there are many ways of protecting victims' identities, as is done every day in cases all throughout the United States.
Thank you.
One thing that I mentioned here leading into you is the fact that we heard from one of the victims earlier on today who had a lot to say. And the big thing that stood out to a lot of people is that she says if the DOJ does not release more information, then she and other victims could come together and
Yo, we got Papa Penguin out there on the road saying, morning, y'all, pumping gas. Yes, sir. Hopefully, wherever you're going, make sure you drive safe, man. Always great to see you in here, though.
Create their very own client list. Legally
Thank
speaking,
you, sick bastard.
What sort of issues could arise from doing that? Are there any issues with doing it?
Brother Carney,
so
thank you.
It's a really interesting question, and my answer there would be it depends. It depends on several things. So I'll think of some. I can give you several circumstances here. Number one, if any of these women have previously signed a settlement agreement of some sort or a confidentiality agreement, that may prohibit them from speaking out publicly or disclosing certain information.
Real quick, we got Project Veopod over there. Jake, the man. Always appreciate you hanging out with us, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your Thirsty Thursday morning or Toke Thursday, you know what I mean? Whichever you prescribe to, or both. I definitely do. Yes. Thank you guys for going over there and subscribing over to Stacks, man. He's a great dude. We got Robert Demita as well. Good morning to you, kind sir. Great to see you. All right, let's go ahead and get into this a little bit further. I don't necessarily need her to continue all the way through this, but I definitely do want to get these images that they're about to show, because it's going to give us some context here.
That said, for other people who may not be a party to such a document, of course, it would likely have no bearing on them whatsoever. So in theory, a group of women could collectively come together, develop a list, and certainly release it if that's what they chose to do. There would be other considerations too.
Oh man, these fucking images gave us fucking nothing. I thought they were actually gonna give us some context here.
Where one or more of these men would threaten lawsuits, defamation, or other type of claims if such a list was released. Now, the interesting thing about that would be, in absolute defense to defamation or any type of defamatory claim or lawsuit, is whether the person is telling the truth. And if
so, I'm just gonna say, one of two things are gonna happen from this whole ordeal. A, absolutely nothing. B, both sides are going down. And I said this yesterday, but I'm okay with both of those possibilities. I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? But real quick, we got a PS.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking
shit. All right, back to this.
They are telling the truth, and the assertions they're making against these individuals are in fact true, then they in theory should have absolutely nothing to fear. So there are a lot of considerations here, but that's certainly on the table.
My last question for you here is, you've obviously, talked and worked with a lot of sexual abuse victims there. You've heard about this case. So many people have heard about it. And I wanted to ask you what it is about this case that has so many people paying such close attention and even calling for the release of these documents and just wanting more information.
That is simple. And it's the long-standing lack of transparency and lack of accountability.
Yes, when there's a lack of transparency from the government, what does that create? It creates something called conspiracy theories. That's what ends up happening is when you have a lack of information and the American public or any public is interested in that, they're going to, if you're not going to tell them, they're going to dig and dig and dig. And then there's going to be assumptions. There's going to be all sorts of things. I think a lot of these cases, the best case scenario is either don't fucking say absolutely fucking nothing or just be absolutely honest. Either way, you know what I mean? But it's like, wow, like it's interesting watching how politics is played on the field for real. You know what I mean?
You know, in America,
good morning, Robert and Bill Castle. Good morning.
Notion that everybody is subject to the laws of this land,
Brandon.
and everybody should be held accountable if they violate them. And in a circumstance like this, it is a slap in the face to law-abiding individuals and Americans all throughout this country, because the clear message that is being sent is that there are individuals in this country who are above the law and who do not appear to be in a position where they are going to be held accountable for a.
Yeah, I would agree, by the way, real quick. Steve says Trump made himself look like a lame on this one. Yeah, he definitely played himself on that one for damn sure. And that was a big letdown on many of his supporters.
Egregious and horrific acts that they are alleged to have committed against innocent young children. And that has piqued the country's interest. And that is exactly why the transparency and accountability need to remain in the focus here so that these individuals are brought to justice.
Andrea Lewis, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here and discuss all of this further. Anything else you want to add? Anything we missed here before I let you go?
No, I think that you and other people in the media are really doing the right thing by.
No, I absolutely agree with that sentiment. What she's saying right here, there's not a lot of people on the media that are willing to get to the bottom and just have transparency. And Live Now from Fox specifically does a very good job over there at looking for the fact, and that's exactly what I'm all about. So that's why I respect it. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and move on into the next ordeal regarding this whole Epstein thing. I guess last night, Trump was in front of a camera of some sort, I guess, and he calls the Epstein case a Democrat hoax, which we've heard him say before. We've heard him say this whole thing before. So let's go ahead and bring this up, and we'll present it to you guys.
Welcome back in Alive Now. I'm Austin Westfall. My thanks to Josh Breslow. He's had you covered for the past few hours. I'll have you covered for the next few hours as we wrap up the day's coverage and tackle the top headlines around the country and across the globe. A live look at the White House, where it's 9:56 in the nation's capital, 6:56 out west. We begin things with the House Oversight Committee today and last night, publicly posting the files that it has received from the Justice Department on the sex trafficking investigation into Jeffrey Epstein and his former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell. The folders, which are posted on a Google Drive file, contains hundreds of image files of years-old court filings related to Epstein. Epstein, of course, died in a New York jail cell in 2019 as he faced charges for sexually abusing teenage girls. And Maxwell, who was serving a lengthy prison...
That's right. Make sure you guys hit that like button. It takes 2 seconds. But I know it's very laborious, but thank you guys for hitting that like button.
...prison sentence for assisting him. The files are coming in response to mounting pressure in Congress to force more disclosure in the case. I spoke with Kalen Deese. He is a Justice Department reporter with the Washington Examiner. Let's get to our conversation. People have been asking for Epstein files for months now. Are these...
This fucking guy.
Why are you gay?
...files going to satisfy people's appetite? We've had 24 hours to look through them.
Yeah, so the files that were released last night were mostly a two-set release. One that included over 33,000 documents, mostly of court.
Yeah, now, I wonder how much of those 33,000 documents or pages came out. How many of those pages or information is already available to the public? That's what I want to know. Is it like 50% shit that the public hasn't seen? Is it 95% of what the public has already seen? Like, I want to know percentage, you know.
Filings that are publicly accessible albeit in a slightly frustrating format where you have to sort of go page by page.
I got you, Steve.
You are gay.
They're like little images, not really a full PDF document. So that was a little bit cumbersome. But most of those information in that document side of the release was information that the public had access to before. Now, the other side of the files, which the Washington Examiner was able to go through about a dozen of these audio and video samples that were included in the Google Drive that was released by the Oversight Committee. Those had some interesting snippets, albeit some miscellaneous things. I'll give you a detail of one of them. There was one of what appeared to be an investigative interview with one of...
Man, this guy is so fucking dry when he speaks. Like, you know, it's actually kind of good to like take pause sometimes when you speak in between your sentences. It's good to show a little bit of emotion when you speak. This guy is fucking dry. I mean, I'm just telling you, he's fucking dry.
The alleged victims of Epstein, where she was describing herself in a situation where she was in nothing but what she said, her panties, and she was getting a massage, talked about some of the lewd incidents where Epstein would watch and perform some other sexual acts on himself. There was other information that we saw via video of what looked to be Epstein's Palm Beach apartment. And that was very interesting too, because it gave people sort of an inside look of what his decor and everything was inside his house at the time, whenever he was being investigated initially in 2006, 2007 on the 2 prostitution charges. Now, what's interesting to me is that there was a bunch of miscellaneous audio recordings and things of that sort that were compiled in this.
What's up, Stump, by the way? Good morning to you, kind sir. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning.
There was even a voicemail, I believe, from the David Copperfield asking Epstein to get back to him. Just very interesting miscellaneous things. But the one thing that I think most people honed in on was the fact that we did receive that missing minute from the...
Yep, the missing minute. But I actually... the explanation that... Pam Bondi gave for the missing minute, I understood what she was getting at. And I don't know that to be very true, but that may be true regarding the security in the prison at midnight. Exactly. It would reset the clock and it'd be missing a minute every single time when it would reset the tape or whatever. I don't know if that's true or not, but I did understand what she was getting at. We got Brother 13, my man, saying, good morning all, Mr. Mike. Hope you're all having a great week. I hope that you are as well. Hopefully you're enjoying your Thirsty Thursday. Performing acts on himself. Was it a fucking circus? Yeah, I did. Apparently.
File, or I should say, from the cell block where he was being kept right before his death there in New York and Manhattan. And we did confirm that there was a minute that was existing that was previously removed. It was actually a bit more of a...
Oh, shit. JS says new video is out that proves that she lied. Interesting. What's up, kind sir? Hopefully you're enjoying your morning as well.
Glitch in compiling the video itself. It wasn't necessarily the explanation that we heard before from Attorney General Pam Bondi that it was simply the cameras resetting every night. So that is a bit of an anomaly that the Attorney General would say that, but perhaps it could also be something where it was she misspoke or she spoke ahead of time. She was assuming. We don't really know why she said that it was a missing minute because there was a camera reset every 24 hours. But nevertheless, we do have that minute sort of returned into the cell block footage. But other than that,
well, how? If that was the explanation that it gets overrided for a minute, how did you get that footage back? That was bullshit.
Austin, there really isn't a whole lot of information really to glean from this. There wasn't any big smoking gun, anything that told us anything new about any of his clients or any identifying information about victims, obviously.
Yeah, a look at the White House and also a look at Palm Beach, Florida, where Epstein lived. Another big question that's on people's minds is President Trump's name anywhere in what was released?
Well, from the files that we were seeing yesterday, I mean, it wasn't anything new as far as, new revelations. We didn't get anything about that, supposed birthday book that has been, especially something that has come up in the news after the Wall Street Journal is facing a lawsuit due to the reporting.
Don't worry, Steve. After the show, I'm going to add it to the soundboard. I'm going to find that fucking soundbite and I'm going to use it. I got
suggesting that there was a letter from Trump that was given to Epstein for his 50th birthday in there. Now, obviously, there is a parallel investigation being done by the House Oversight Committee that is subpoenaing information from
What's up, Miss Lotus? Good morning to you over there in Florida. Good morning. Good morning.
the estate of Epstein that is actually trying to get information like that book and other things out of the estate of Epstein. So it does appear that this is sort of, I hate to use the term phase one because we saw how that happened in the first go around with the Epstein release from the DOJ. But it does seem like the Oversight Committee is going to be revealing new information about its own investigation into Epstein in phases. This is obviously a very big drop, but as far as the contents of what was in this release, it just didn't really amount to much. We still
No kidding. He looks younger than me, and that's saying something.
We'll have interviews with people like the former prosecutor Alex Acosta, who gave the plea, what some people call a sweetheart agreement to Epstein following his first prostitution case in the late 2000s. So I think that they are wanting to release more information and get new information out to the public. But this first round was a bit of a dud, albeit it did seem like they were working with what the DOJ had given them.
So is there a way to quantify how much has not been released yet? If this is the first round.
Right. That's exactly what I was asking. Remember? Okay. So I wanted to know how much of this 33,000 fucking pages released of information, how much of it percentage-wise is it shit that the public already knows about? The public has already seen it. That's what I want to know.
How many more rounds could there be?
Well, there is, a lot more out there, and that's because we know that there's at least upwards of, from what's been reported, at around 300 or so terabytes of information, and that's, just information that's also
300 terabytes of information. Holy fuck, dude. Are you serious? You have that much info on, and that's not all of it. That's fucking insane. That's an absurd amount.
Kept on, the FBI's own Sentinel, I believe, network that it keeps much of its information sort of under lock and key. So again, it does matter that the Oversight Committee is releasing the information that the DOJ has provided. Although it seemed to me like that there's more of a push right now, especially in the political world, to see if there's nothing else that can be done to get the DOJ sort of out from being the arbiters of this release of information, albeit we're waiting on a vote right now from Representative Thomas Massey to see if his discharge petition is successful to try to force the DOJ to simply release its Epstein trove of data to Congress. And that right now is still pending as we speak, but there could be more information. That is what some people are sort of describing as a bit of a rebellion in the House to try to get out around from this sort of carefully tailored, crafted oversight investigation. And
yeah, I mean, this is an actual circus at this point.
Bruh.
Just get the information, all of it, into the hands of the people, the American people, so that the fullest transparency can be out there. That's Massey's pitch, at least, to the lawmakers there in the public.
Oh wow, Papa Penguin had ChatGPT or whatever do a comparison. It said it's 95% stuff that has been released before, and that shit I believe 100,000%. That's fucked up, yo. It's so fucking frustrating with these people. All we ask as Americans is we ask for fucking transparency. That's all we ask for, dude.
Caitlin, I read that some...
If you're gonna fuck us, just tell us straight up what's happening. Just at least be honest. Just say it. It's so fucking frustrating, dude.
Pages were almost entirely redacted. What type of stuff are they typically blocking out in these files? You follow the DOJ so closely. Are they typically blocking out...
What's up, Todd? Good morning, kind sir. Great to see you, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning and your Thirsty Thursday so far.
Victims' names. What other sensitive information are they censoring?
Well, there's definitely an assumption that it has to be something that they didn't think, not necessarily for any nefarious reason they needed to block out, not to sort of hide sort of the golden egg in the basket, but certainly from the standpoint that we have heard time and time again that this DOJ...
That's right, sick bastard. At least buy me a drink or something. Fuck, man. Yeah, exactly. Steve is a little more bougie. He likes a dinner. Dinner? You expect a dinner now? Holy shit. Oh, man. All right, let's go ahead and move on into the next ordeal here. We got Iran increased uranium stockpile before Israeli attack during that 12-day war over there. The UN claims. So let's go ahead and bring this up for you guys here in a second, and we'll present this. And 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back in Live Now. I'm Austin Westfall. You've been looking at a live vantage point of the White House, where it's approaching 11 p.m. on the East Coast. Let's talk about Iran. Take a look at your screen from the AP. Iran increased its stockpile of uranium enriched to near weapons-grade levels before Israel launched its military attack earlier this year in June. That's according to a confidential report by the United Nations nuclear watchdog. It was also circulated to member states and seen by the Associated Press. The report by the International Atomic Energy Agency said that as of June 13th, Iran had about 71 more pounds more of the uranium compared to the previous month of May.
So they had 71 pounds in one fucking month they were able to enrich. That's insane. We got Brother So Loud in the building as well. Good morning to you from the boondocks of North Carolina. Shout out to my man.
Why does this matter? Let's ask the host of the Strap podcast and retired Marine Intelligence Officer Hal Kemper. He's here. Before we get to the meat of the story, Hal, something needs to be clear. How does the IAEA get reliable data about Iran's nuclear program? Iran isn't exactly forthcoming with that information.
No, and neither is the UN.
This is true. And what they do is they talk to a lot of different people. They compare with a lot of other information, and they make an assessment. And it's not like a court process. It's not that they have to go before a jury and prove beyond a reasonable doubt. They make an assessment of what Iran did, and they have a variety of inputs, and a lot of countries share information with them. I wouldn't be surprised if Israel was actually sharing information with them. And you have to remember that you just had the snapback provisions by the big three up in Europe. And of course, all those three countries would have been sharing intelligence. Well, they would have been sharing information back and forth with the IAEA. So based on the summation of that, they came up with this, that there apparently was a surge effort in enriching uranium, and they got it up to 60%. Which in the uranium enrichment business is a stone's throw from getting up to 90%, which is weapons grade. And with the amount of uranium they had, based on what was released today, it looks like that theoretically, if they had wanted to, the Iranians could have possibly had enough uranium, enriched uranium, could have possibly built 10 nuclear weapons.
Wow. So that's the prediction, was with what they had right before this whole ordeal, before we took out their mountain, their enrichment facilities that was in that mountain. But nonetheless, that's very, very interesting. So they say that is the number is 10 nuclear weapons they could have possibly made previous to the Israeli attack, and then us getting involved as well.
Pretty significant. I do find that rather interesting because I recall prior to the 12-day war and during the 12-day war,
what's up, Robert?
There was a variety of sources coming out of Israel, some government, that basically were alluding to the fact that they could build somewhere between 8 to 10 or more nuclear weapons. And it really kind of underscores what was going on behind the scenes that the rest of us could speculate on, but we didn't know. And that they were probably operating on information that said the Iranians are at that threshold moment, and if we don't do it now, they're going to have a nuclear weapon. So I find it rather fascinating how this came out.
So basically what this confirms is that they were increasing.
Well, he's right. And by the way, this guy, he does a very good job. When I very first started seeing him on this program, where I saw him reoccurring, was originally during the original reporting of Russia-Ukraine. And so he's done a fantastic job as a national security analyst. And he's, from what he explains, is unbiased. If he gets asked a prediction or something, he'll even admit, kind of like what I do. That's like a personal what I think. But yeah,
their stockpile in that short amount of time before the 12-day war happened. Mm-hmm. What does that tell you about Iran's thought process in the time leading up to the 12-day war?
Well, what it says, right, first off, they came out, immediately and said, oh, no, we just want to use this for civilian use. We want, civilian generation of nuclear power, research and stuff like that. Well, you don't need 60% or definitely not 90% enriched uranium to do that. The only reason you got 90% enriched uranium is you're building nuclear weapons. That's it, period. And we've gone.
Shit, I got you. We got a PSA.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Shit, we're cooked out here. You must obey.
Through this before, we went through the same thing with the North Koreans, where they were doing all this stuff, where they were hiding what they were doing, and And the global community just didn't want to commit the resources necessary to stop the North Koreans from doing that. And the North Koreans went ahead and they built nuclear weapons. And now they may have somewhere between 50 or more nuclear weapons that they can employ. We absolutely do not want to see Iran with that. I think the whole world community, maybe the exception of Russia, does not want to see a nuclear Iran. And so this is something that they'd assessed, they looked at, and it really, I don't think that the IAEA was trying to justify what Israel did. And I don't think that the UN was trying to justify it, but this report does kind of justify why Israel did what they did when they did it. And by the way, by extension, it definitely justifies why the U.S. hit those 3 nuclear sites, the one with the B-2 bombers and the others with Tomahawk missiles. It kind of underscores the sense of urgency.
There was, in total, they calculated 14. They say, I've heard different numbers too of like 15. I've heard 15. I've heard 12. But from what I understand it to be 14, there was 7 B-2 bombers, and each B-2 bomber can hold 2 fucking of those bunker busters that we had. So it makes sense it would be 14.
The exigent circumstances that were present that necessitated such a move and such a decision.
A live look at the White House, where it's just past 11 p.m. in the nation's capital. As far as you know, Hal, are there still negotiations between the U.S. and Iran to ramp down Iran's nuclear program? It certainly felt like it was top of mind a few months ago. What have you heard lately?
Well, it's a little bit of conjecture. All right. The Iranians came back and they said the Americans are always saying that the Iranians won't sit down at the table, but the Americans aren't negotiating with us. And I think the door's open for negotiations on both sides. Obviously.
Hey, if you guys are getting your nails did, make sure that I get my pedicure in. And don't worry, I get it for half off. So it's pretty awesome, actually.
There was a negotiation enough that the war was ended. So that ceasefire took place. That's pretty substantial. There's nothing that really blocks any negotiations. There's nothing that stops it. And certainly with the snapback provisions under the JCPOA being imposed, that Iran has every reason in the world to sit down with everyone and negotiate this situation. But the Iranians have to make a decision, which is, are they going to give up any aspirations they have for a nuclear weapon? And that means, are they willing to give up all those things necessary that they would need to create a nuclear weapon, which includes the ability to enrich uranium? And I don't know if the Iranians politically have made that decision. I don't know if the Ayatollah and his regime politically feels that they can make that decision, because that is, basically giving up a certain amount of sovereign control that they feel that they have if they do that. Although a number of other countries in the world have that provision that they do not actually enrich their uranium. And actually countries that do not pose any significant threat to anyone, like except maybe to North Korea, South Korea, they actually they have nuclear capability, but they don't have nuclear enrichment capability, which is something that South Korea has talked about that they might want to get. But it tells you that's not an isolated case. But the thing with that we see here with the IAEA report was that Iran was marching steadfastly towards creating a capability to basically build nuclear weapons.
Is there any reliable intel out there to suggest where their nuclear program stands today? I was reading, by the way, that the UN has been having a hard time getting information about their program. The IAEA hasn't gotten the same amount of...
I'm sure that that's true to an extent, but I also believe that the UN probably does have that information, and they withhold that information. And they're known to be extremely fucking biased.
Of intel, how would you classify this? Were you reading the same things I was reading?
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I'm not surprised that they're not. There's a lot of this would have come from countries like the United States, Great Britain, Israel, and let's just say that there is not the level of trust and confidence.
What's up, Brother Hardwire? Good morning to you.
In the IAEA, certainly not the amount of interaction, cooperative effort, and with that said, the amount of information.
And we got Brother Lee Lance coming in the building too. Good morning, concern.
Sharing that there probably was before. So the IAEA may feel a little bit cut off from some of the sources of information that they used to have, and that's kind of going to be true probably for a while. The IAEA has to do a lot to kind of build up its level of trustworthiness with certain countries of the world, i.e., the United States specifically, and there's a feeling that they just weren't doing what they should have been doing. And there's a feeling that the United Nations doesn't do what it's supposed to do either. So I'm not surprised that they feel that they're a little cut off from the flow. However, as far as for your first part of your question, intelligence, I imagine there's a lot of intelligence on their program. but I also imagine that it's being held very closely. You remember what happened when that preliminary assessment on the BDA, battle damage assessment of the strikes, got leaked from the Defense Intelligence Agency? There's a lot of clamping down in Washington, D.C. and elsewhere, and other countries have also had problems. They're clamping down as well. So I imagine there's a lot of intelligence, but a lot of it's being kept out of the public eye.
Well, shit. All right. Well, and like I explained, I think that the UN has a lot of this information, but they withhold certain to be able to upkeep their end over there. That's part of their job, is to protect their shit over there. Anyways, nonetheless, let's go ahead and move into one of our last stories here. Don't worry, I'm also going to refresh on the news side. Let's see if there's anything. Yes, there actually is. I guess RFK gets heckled during a Senate hearing this morning. So let's go ahead and bring that up here in a minute. But first, we're going to get into D.C. D.C. National Guard troops deployment in D.C. could reportedly last through December. And this is what we were talking about yesterday, that there's going to be a possible extension here over there, what's happening in D.C. This is a quick update, so this is only like 3 minutes.
Welcome back into Live Now from Fox as we are taking this live look out there over at the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., following the latest happening down there in terms of President Trump's crackdown on crime and also possibly extending National Guard troops being deployed down in D.C. Joining us now is Fox 5's Melanie Alnwick. She has the story. Melanie.
Hey, good morning. Union Station here in Washington, D.C. is one of the places where people have frequently seen National Guard stationed. Just a few of them out here this morning, not a very strong presence as we have sometimes seen in the past. But here's the thing. The executive order that allowed the deployment or ordered the deployment of National Guard troops in Washington, D.C. is open-ended. There's no expiration date, saying only that President Trump will decide when this deployment is no longer needed. There are reports that the mission for the Guard troops has been extended. Officials are trying to downplay that a little bit, saying...
So it has been extended. Because it was just talks yesterday.
Guard troops has been extended.
So it has been.
Officials are trying to downplay that a little bit, saying it's at this point just a technicality to make sure that the Guard get the pay and benefits that they're entitled to. But there are definite signs that this mission may be extended and may be continuing. So let's talk about some of those. One would be the addition of Guard troops from South Dakota now arriving in the District of Columbia, bringing to 7 the number of states sending Guard to the Joint Task Force D.C., as the mission is called. We've seen troops, yes, standing Guard at Union Station and around monuments and tourist spots in D.C., and also being put to work doing beautification things like picking up trash and pulling weeds.
Hey, listen, that's great. That's awesome, actually. They're out there fucking picking up trash and what they call beautification of the city. I think that's a great thing, actually, that they're not just standing there securing their buildings. They're actually out there making a little bit of a difference, making it a better place than they got there before. That's awesome.
They've also been assigned to patrol metro stations while armed, and they've been authorized to patrol neighborhoods and assist in local police activities. Residents and tourists have been generally tolerant of their presence as long as it's temporary.
They're not enforcing actual crime. They're not. I mean, so what I've seen them doing is standing around underneath the Washington Monument for photo ops.
They're really not here to harm you, and most of them that I've talked to don't really want to be here either.
Whether they pulled it out and ran it out this time, that is quite likely possible, but I don't know.
Now, a separate Trump executive order on August 25th directs the Department of Defense to create a specialized unit within the D.C. National Guard that is dedicated to ensuring public safety and order in the nation's capital, presumably to be called up whenever the president wants. Also says that each state's National Guard needs to be trained and available to assist with quelling civil disturbances whenever the circumstances necessitate. So there's going to be a lot of questions as far as the role of the troops, the extension or the duration of this deployment. We know D.C. Mayor...
So it could go through December. I mean, damn.
Muriel Bowser has said that she's been trying to set the framework and the groundwork for this crime emergency to end. Hopefully, it is supposed to end on September 10th. Again, that's for the federal...
Oh, you know what? That's a really smart idea too, Naomi. I've got a couple things I've got to add onto the soundboard. So make sure that I get the baby bullshit soundbite and the donate some freaking money soundbite. We got to do that for sure.
takeover, but the National Guard open-ended. We also know that in Los Angeles, a judge recently ruled that the Trump deployment of National Guard there was illegal because they were being used for law enforcement purposes. So as Guard may get deployed to Illinois, may get deployed to Maryland, as the Trump administration has threatened, a lot of people are going to be looking at what exactly their mission is going to be there.
Well, shit. All right, let's go ahead and do the last story here, which is RFK Jr. gets heckled during Senate hearing, quote, "You're killing millions." Let's go ahead and bring that up. And here we go.
The grass loophole, fluoride in our drinking water, gas station heroin, electronic cigarettes, drug prices, prior authorization, information blocking.
The committee will come to order.
Who pays these people to go do this? This is all fucking cap, just so you guys know.
Stop the cap.
It's all political theater. And all these, this is something that you would have to get used to, being interrupted like this in a hearing or whatever the case is. As a politician, you have to be able to sit there and let them do the thing for a minute and then fucking get right back into it, not even really address it.
I apologize to you for that outburst, Secretary Kennedy. I would notify everyone else in the audience. Comments from the audience are inappropriate. If there are any further disruptions, the committee will recess until the police can restore order. Mr. Secretary, please proceed.
As I was saying, prior authorization, information blocking.
See how RFK didn't even, he just continues. And watch, I guarantee you there's going to be more hecklers. Watch. Let's see if there is. Seeing if, maybe. I can't, no, it doesn't look like it. It looks like he goes into the rest of his ordeal there. It looks like that's it. Let's see.
And healthcare interoperability. We're ending gain-of-function research, child mutilation, and reducing animal testing. We are addressing cell phone use in schools, excessive screen time for youth, the lack of nutrition education in our medical schools, sickle cell anemia, hepatitis C, the East Palestine chemical spill, and many, many others. At FDA, we are now on track to approve more drugs this year than at any time in history. I'm also proud to say that HHS under President Trump is doing more with less. We have taken measures to fight waste, fraud, and abuse. Just by eliminating duplicative enrollments in CMS, we are saving taxpayers $14 billion a year. Meanwhile, we are expanding access for people who need it. We are ending race.
I hope that's true.
Racist, diversity, equity, and inclusion practices, and instead focusing on aiding low-income and vulnerable families, regardless of their race.
So right now he's testifying before the Senate Finance Committee, and he's defended CDC shakeup, declaring agency is in trouble. I'm reading over here what this testifies before Senate. What it says right here, RF Kennedy serves as Health and Human Services Human Services Secretary. White House ousted CDC Director Susan Monterez late last month, and yes, we also reported on that. So yeah, interesting shit. But I want to hear that outburst one more time before we wrap up shop here and send you guys over to a raid. But I do want to hear the outburst one more time.
Drug prices, prior authorization, information blocking.
The committee will come to order.
You're killing millions of people.
I apologize to you for that outburst, Secretary Kennedy. I would notify everyone else in the audience.
Shit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the show, man. I can't thank you guys enough for the amount of support as well as engagement. You guys hitting that like button on the way, whether it be on the way in or the way out, man, it doesn't matter. So I very much appreciate you guys. Yes, millions. Yeah, these fucking people over here, dude.
Stop the cap. Emotional, damn it.
Anyways, with that being said, we will be back tomorrow morning for more of the World's Madness. Make sure you guys stick around. We're going to be rating our buddy CT. It's always entertaining watching his panels. Nonetheless, hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning for more of the World's Madness. God bless everyone. We'll see you guys very soon.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges.